Hey guys, and welcome back to Sailing with the Jameses. We're Sam, Kate, and our 4-year-old daughter Charlie, and for the past 4 years, our home has been a sailboat. But right now we're searching for something new for the next adventure. We are boat searching for a long-range expedition cruiser, something that can really open up the next chapter of our journey and cruising plans. Last year, we almost bought a 78-foot ex-commercial prawn trawler in Western Australia, but at the last minute we hit a major roadblock with insurance, and that stopped us dead in the tracks. Since then, we've been keeping a close eye on the market, patiently waiting for the right boat to come along. And last week, we flew all the way down to Tasmania to check one out. And today, we're stepping aboard for the very first time and bringing you with us. Could this be the boat for us? Hop in.
600 meters, merge onto Batman Highway, B73.
We've just done a little detour. We're about to go over a bridge called Batman Bridge.
Batman Bridge.
So before the bridge, it has like this little viewing area. We just went down and you can see the river and some really beautiful trees and houses, and it's quite gorgeous down there. But now, literally in less than 20 seconds, we're going to go over Batman Bridge.
Hey, off to look at a boat. Hopefully, the boat.
Yeah, guys, today is the day.
That's it. The moment we've all been waiting for. The reason, the main reason we came down to Tasmania to begin with, is to look at, hopefully, fingers crossed, our new boat. So
This morning's pretty exciting.
yeah, very, very exciting.
So we've gotten up early. We've gotten some coffees. Where the boat is located is about 45 minutes, 50 minutes?
An hour, yeah.
An hour drive from where we're staying.
Yeah.
But that hour drive is like, I think, most spectacular so far, because this is just Tassie, and it's just been like a really scenic drive.
Yeah, it's been absolutely awesome. So yeah, no, it's good too, because it calms us down before we look at the boat. It's weird, you know, a lot of the times people, when they're selling their boat, you know, they're really keen for people to get there because they want to sell it, but we're really keen to buy as well. So yeah, there's a few nerves and bits and pieces, hoping that the boat's going to be all that we hope it's going to be. And
yeah. So like leaving our boat, getting on the plane, this has all been like really, like, I can't believe we're here. We're about to see the boat. We've done all the video walkthroughs. We've done everything. And then, like, at some point during the boat buying process, you get to the point where you go and see the boat, which is where we are at.
Yep, we're going to crawl over it from bow to stern. Hopefully every little nook and cranny that I can get into, I'll poke my nose into it. Yeah, just have a good assessment of condition. Anytime you're looking at second-hand boats, you know, you kind of, you know, you want to assess, you know, to assess what the value is. You know, you're looking at what's the replacement cost, what's the current condition, what it's worth to you as to what you want to do with it, and how much it's going to cost to convert it into what you want. Comparative analysis with other boats that are around as to what the current market value is. And then, yeah, how much your max budget is and how much you have to spend on it to get it where you want. And you've got to sort of compile all of these things to really find out what the true value is to you when you're buying a boat. No matter what anyone tells you the value is, there's always your own valuation might be slightly different due to your circumstances. And the famous catchphrase is, a boat's only willing what someone's willing to pay. And so yeah, we've got to go through all these things, take a whole heap of notes, and try and figure out what a fair value for the boat is, because that's a key point as well. You don't just want to get there and go, oh, how cheap can I get this off them for? Like, what is a fair value? And yeah, what is the fair value to you? And that's a key point. You know, if you get too carried away with trying to
because we're a 2-person setup, we're going to be looking at different, because you can only see so much in videos and everything, so we're going to be looking at things. Sam's going to be crawling all over everything.
Yeah, and that's exactly right. You can always do mechanical advantage, but that costs money, and in my opinion, simpler is always better. So the simplest, easiest setup is definitely the least maintenance, especially for us, because we want to go off the beaten track. If you're just doing coastal runs and, you know, a lot of the things that we've been doing so far, there's shops everywhere, there's support everywhere, but we really want to go off the beaten track, and if that's the case, simple, hardy equipment is really, in my opinion, the way to go for longevity. And yeah, so that's what we're looking at as well, rather than thinking, oh, well, this doesn't work, but I can buy this to make it work, or we can put this on to make it work. What's the simplest, easiest way to get things going?
Yeah, and every boat, like this is going to be our 3rd liveaboard boat that we're buying, but we've owned motorboats before that, and through that whole process, you just get, every single owner is different. Every single person that owns a boat is different, and the way they have their setup is different. It's what you get the boat to that you're comfortable with, and the person that's buying the boat might not be comfortable with that setup. Like hot water, for example. On sailboats, some people are really comfortable not having hot water. For me personally, if you want me to live on a sailboat full time, I need hot water to take showers and everything. But then from there, hot water you can have like on 12 volt, you can have it off the engine, or you can have it both, or it could go off a genset. Anyways, that's just one example of where people set up. So you can look at a boat, hot water, do you have it, do you not, how do you heat the hot water up, and what am I comfortable with? So all the systems you look on board could actually be good, but it could be to a point where the previous owner was happy with it. So we're just going to be looking at things, not specifically the hot water, that was just an example, but just other things.
And then when you're looking at it, okay, the previous owner might have made some changes here. Maybe you agree with the owner before the previous owner, and you need to revert back to the way they had them. So you look at that too, and ease of conversion. Anytime you change something into something else, it costs. Whether it's time, money, you know, it just costs effort. So, you know, you've got to look at what those costs are. And for us, it's not just financial. Time is important.
Yeah.
So how long is it going to take? As you're probably aware, for the type of boat we want, it's not in our price bracket. So we're looking at different ways to get what we want, like a long off-road, you know, expedition style vessel.
Yeah.
So, you know, we can't quite afford a 70-foot Nordhaven right now. So we're looking at different ways of achieving a similar goal.
An expedition.
And exactly, actually something that's going to potentially be a lot hardier, a lot simpler, a lot less maintenance and running costs, and take us to the same places.
Yeah. So a lot of you right now might be thinking, get to the point. What are you looking at? What's this boat? Give us some details. Give us some stats. I think we'll get to the boats, and when we get to the parking lot, we'll show you the boats, and we'll give you some details of what she is, when we can actually give you a visual of her.
All right, awesome.
Yeah.
Catch you soon, guys.
Alright guys, we're about to turn.
You're like whispering in the corner there. All right, guys.
We're turning.
Hey!
We are here.
Where is it? Where is it?
And then the marina's down.
All right.
To the left.
There it is. Guess which one?
She's a beauty. Just take a wild guess. She's in view. Look at where Sam's eyes are gazing.
I see that big boat.
Wow. police boat.
Yeah.
It's a nice police boat. It's fancy.
Where's the police boat?
The police boat's that colourful one there. Blue, orange, and yellow, and black. Fancy. So just looking at her from the car, she looks great.
She does. She does look good. So this here is the MV Tura. Started as a Cray boat. It's had 3 different wheelhouse configurations on in its lifetime. It started with an aft wheelhouse steel low set. Then it went to a forward wheelhouse with lots of accommodation, doing fishing charters out of Gladstone. And now it's a hybrid. So they've gone sort of to the aft wheelhouse, but with a lot of accommodation on it. And yeah, we like it because it's a cross between industrial fishing and lots of accommodation. So it's one of the things we really liked about it. This is what we would call a development boat. It's not where we want it to be. There's a lot of work that needs to be done to it. And what I mean by that is there's nothing wrong with the boat per se, but for what we want, there's a lot of work to be done to it. So just to be clear, it's not the boat that needs a lot of work, it's what we want to turn it into. There's a lot of work.
Yeah, currently she's set up for like charters. She's in survey, and we're obviously a family of 3, and like there's just like the wheelhouse we think we'd be able to make into a really nice big area with like a pilot's berth, and currently has the 2 cabins in it, the master and the chief engineers, and it's got like those 2 cabins, but we think we could, like, that's an example, we think we could turn that wheelhouse into something pretty awesome.
Exactly. So yeah, that's what we're looking at. And it's also set up to be run with a genset all the time, as it has passengers. They want available 240 power, and that isn't the way we would want to do it. Running a genset 24/7 just isn't in our budget. That's just not the way we see our future going, not just financially, which is a real problem, but also we want to have lots of range. We don't want to be using fuel all the time, so that way it extends the legs of the boat, and we can go off grid for so much longer.
Yeah.
So yeah, but let's go check it out. Woohoo!
Oh, yeah. Alright guys, meet Tura. Tura is a 77-foot or 23.5 meters steel expedition vessel, originally built back in 1985 and designed for commercial fishing, charter, and dive operations. She is an aft wheelhouse design, which means that the bridge is at the back of the boat, which we really like because it means that when you are in heavy seas and the bow is taking a pounding, the aft wheelhouse is a bit more stable and less affected. She's got a beam of 6.25 meters and a 3-meter draft, and she displaces 124 tons. She's big, she's solid, and from the moment we stepped on board, you can feel that she's built for serious offshore work and serious adventure. Starting right up here at the bow, one of the first things that we love is that she's got a bow thruster. For a vessel of this size, that is a massive tick for us. It just makes maneuvering in tight spaces and docking so much more manageable, especially when you're short-handed like we are. Up here, we've also got twin anchors with full chain and the ability to run everything remotely from the bridge, which is a huge for us for safety and ease when anchoring. And just behind the anchor locker, there's another forward cabin with direct access from the deck through a hooded hatch, and that opens up so many options for us. Whether it becomes a private guest room, a crew cabin, storage, or most likely for us, a workshop. Moving aft through the vessel, one of the biggest standout features for us is all of this commercial cold storage space. The boat has an 8 cubic meter freezer room and an 8 cubic meter chiller room. And aft of the freezer, there is the giant Cray hold. And while that's obviously built for fishing operations, for us, we see potential. These spaces could be transformed into massive storage areas, long-term holiday decorations for myself, because as you all know, I love my holidays and holiday decorations. They could also be additional cabins or even made into a workshop setup. And what we really love is internally, from the living areas, there is a cabin forward of the engine room, which gives us the opportunity to potentially connect these spaces internally, meaning all the rooms could potentially be connected from the inside and there would be no need to access any of this from deck. We could potentially turn all of these into cabins connected internally with a hallway. Big win there. And then up here on the foredeck, you've got this crane hoist system above the Cray hold, which is honestly such a cool feature. If we were to use this space for carrying and storing large items like bikes, scooters, dive gear, or even kayaks or paddleboards, lifting heavy gear in and out of the hold becomes really easy. I think this would be fun. Jumping off here. Definitely. Coming to the aft deck, this space is incredible. It's huge, open, and super functional, and we can just picture how much time we'd spend back here. It's designed to be easy to clean, it's super practical, and we love the industrial feel. The stainless steel railings, the built-in table and benches, the easy to wash down deck, and the durability is amazing. And there's also plenty of shade, which is so important to us, and it has the potential to enclose with canvas. And up top, there's enough space to comfortably carry multiple tenders, which is something we want to do. And there's a high up there, able to lift and lower heavy and longer tenders. Now heading up to one of our favorite spots, the bridge. The space in the wheelhouse is large and the visibility from up here is great. And like I mentioned before, the bow thruster and windlass controls are all on the bridge, which makes navigating and docking so much easier, especially for us, which is 2 people. Soon it will be 3 when Charlie gets old enough, but for now it's 2. But what we really like and what excites us about this space is the potential. There's so much room up here to create a liveaboard helm space. We can picture a seating area, table, desk setup, and making the master cabin a little smaller and into a pilot berth for longer passages. She's got a Portuguese-style walk-around deck, which is not only great for safety offshore, but also great for spotting sea life from higher up on passage. You see tons of sea life when you're higher up on those big ships. It's a lot. And a huge bonus is that there's a toilet up here, which we like the idea of for longer passages. If we had a pilot berth, a nice mini fridge, a toilet, a shower, a table, long passages would be really nice and we wouldn't have to leave the bridge for much. moment, but it does have 3 bathrooms? 4 bathrooms?
Well, it depends. Actually, yeah. 3 toilets.
Three toilets and 3 showers, I think. Yeah. Anyways, it's got 3 and 3. I
4
think.
showers.
4 showers.
Yeah.
3 toilets, 4 showers, and we were just having a look at the outside toilet to see if we could fit a washing machine in there. Which one would work best? How do we convert it to a laundry area? Would it work? And basically, what we're just looking at is like one of the biggest things that is surprising to me. You can't just turn any shower or any toilet into a laundry area. You really gotta look at the framework of the doorway and everything as well, because not all door frames will fit washing machines, and boats sometimes will have a big room and you'll say this looks
really windy, and especially when you're going into marinas you're not familiar with. You know, just having those extra backups are really, really comforting. If you know where you're going, it's easy. You know how the boat's going to act, and away you go, and that's it. But you know, we like exploring, going into new places, and
Yeah.
really happy that Tura's got a hydraulic bow thruster, and it's run off a PTO in the gearbox, so everything's all nice and clutched in there. It works really, really well.
She's got bulbous bow thruster, lots of chain, 2 different sets of chains and anchors in her.
Yep.
And then we've got like a really big 4-berth V-berth up forward, which is awesome. We've got the really nice, it's used now as a fridge and freezer, which we went in to see how we could convert it, or if not, how we could use it for storage.
Yep.
And then the really big fish or cray hold, and then how we also went into that to see if we're not going to use it for like storage for like big items, how we can convert it to accommodation to get that all connected through. And then looked at converting one of the rooms to a master cabin.
Yep.
Looked at the 4 back cabins. There's 4 all with twin beds, and then just looked at how we're going to do that, or maybe the possibility of turning all those aft ones into a master cabin and turning one of the other ones into Charlie's cabin, or how we're going to do that. And then we had a look at the back deck.
Love the back deck.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
So good. And there's something that's got like a beer thing on it, like so you can bring your own beer. So if any of you guys want to come over for a beer, like if we buy this boat, bring your own beer canister type thingy, and we've got a beer tap, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
But that back deck's just amazing. It's all undercover. It's all looks like it would be easily shaded, to get like cloth canvas or shades made to just shade it all. And then the back platform's just the most awesomest thing ever. One of the big things that we're looking at is to have a nice big platform for water sports and everything, and that platform is just awesome. Nice solid stairs running down to it, places to tie off the tender to, places to tie paddleboards and kayaks and whatever onto, and just swim off of and get onto. That's a pretty awesome swim platform at the back.
Definitely. Very awesome. But one of the conclusions we are coming to, though, is that if we're not going to use it as a charter boat, and we're not going to have lots and lots of guests on board all the time, it may be a tad big.
Too big.
You know, we don't really need a toilet each, which is what we would have. There'd be 4 showers, so we have more than a shower each. And if we were looking at converting the fish holds and turning them into more accommodation, but if we take out all the cabins, there's a bunny rabbit running along, then we don't. The wildlife here is just amazing. But if we take off all the cabins, then we don't actually need to expand the boat any further. And then, bigger in a heavy sea, generally speaking, is better. But in every other sense of the word, it's not. You pay more generally. That was really good on fuel for what it was, but the bigger the boat in heavy seas, you got a lot more weight you're pushing around. You got a lot more area to anti-foul. You got to pay a lot more in marinas. And if we don't quite need to go that big, which we would end up having to pay for, then it may not be necessary. School's not out yet whether it is too big. It's just something we're thinking about.
Yeah, whether it, there is a thing to go too big with boats.
And with toilets and all that, you got to use them. As soon as you leave them idle for a long time, they start breaking, and then the maintenance goes up. And so even with having so many toilets and bits and pieces, you've got to use all the equipment that you have. And a maintenance on a boat, just keeping the paint up to a boat that size, would cost a fair bit. And when you're buying a boat, you want to spend enough money that you've bought a boat that you're happy with, but you also need to leave enough money to enjoy the boat with and to live the lifestyle.
Yeah.
And there's a balance there that we haven't quite figured out what the sweet spot is or how much to spend, but we're thinking with Tura, it might just be a bit on the other side.
Yeah, it's only 3 of us, so we really only need 2, like minimum 2 cabins. Yeah, but would love something.
Yeah, it currently has 8 cabins, and we were looking at putting more in because it has a walk-in freezer, walk-in fridge. Yeah.
And we were thinking about maybe taking 4 of the back cabins out to make one large one.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's something that we've got to think about. It could possibly be too large, and we're not expanding our family. We're a family of 3.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. But I personally, I love the look of Tura. I think she's gorgeous. I like the safety of her. I like the high sides. The bow has really nice high sides. It's got like solid doors on the sides that open up. The back end of the boat where the swim platform is all like solid handrails until you get to the stairs, and then it's got a chains that go across. It's all super safe, which is something that we always look for with having Charlie and having other kids on board and family and stuff. Just safety in general. So it ticks all of those boxes.
It'd be a fairly good seaboat. It'd punch beautifully.
Yeah.
It was economical, which was really good. It was fast, which is always a bonus.
And it's cool. She has a cool history too. So like the owner that we were talking to is the owner that actually built her.
Yeah.
So she's only had one owner, which is really cool. And then like she's just had this super awesome history of like chartering, of cray fishing work, of all this different stuff. And it's just neat to buy a boat that has history and you learn all about it, and then you can turn it into like a private boat. Like I like looking at boats that are now expedition style steel hull trawlers, and you just see like, oh, it's 1930s and it used to do this and this and this, and it's cool, I think. So
Yeah, it would have an awesome bridge, as in when we would rip out
So
what is there and then rebuild it, and it's a good size. It's a great vision. Walk around, it's got the Portuguese walk around area and everything. It'd just be fantastic.
yeah.
And that would be great, but everything else underneath, it's just a little bit big for what we really need. And, we might be hampered. We'd be restricted on where we get hauled out. It's 120 tons, which is fairly heavy, by the way. So in Australia, there's a lot of 60, 80 ton travel lifts.
And the big girls go to like specific yards.
Yeah, and so we'd be restricted there,
Yeah.
which is a different price bracket. And we like to do all of our own work, and they're normally in the backyard yards, and not the big popular ones. The big popular ones, you've got to usually get tradies in, and approved tradies with all the right insurances and everything that goes with it nowadays, and we still really like to do most of our own work. And even if we do get a tradie, and I like to work with them to bring the cost down, and then it's fun anyway to check it out and learn from them. So yeah.
One thing we also looked at today was the the cranes and looking at tenders.
Yes.
How many tenders it could hold, how much, that back platform where the tenders are, and looking at putting a tender on the bow, because we want to have a few different types of tenders on there. And I think that back platform too up at the top would be a really cool platform to jump off of.
Yeah.
Swimming.
Heaps of fun.
Yeah.
But those are our thoughts on Tura. So at this stage, we've still got to sort of mull over it and do some figures and run some numbers. But if we were going to do charter work and it was going to pay for itself, it'd be fantastic. But if we're actually not, now it comes to the crunch, we're kind of leaning, when we're looking more at the realities of, getting charters and building a reputation and everything that goes with it, then the boat may be just a tad too big and a bit too costly for what we want to do.
Yeah.
And then also restrictive in the places we can go, because it is a little bit bigger.
You guys could let us know if you think we should run charters 2 or 3 weeks a Thank you so much for watching. We hope you guys enjoyed this video of our tour through Tura. If you enjoyed this video, please consider clicking the like button, subscribe, comment below what you thought of Tura, and also join us every week as we share a journey sailing full-time as a family. A massive and huge shout out to our amazing Patreons. Thank you guys so much, and thank you for your support. We couldn't do this without you. If you are interested in joining the J Crew and supporting us making videos and content, plus you get some awesome rewards and perks like early access to videos and more, consider becoming either a member on YouTube or joining the J Crew on Patreon. Follow the links in the description box below, and tiers start at just $2 a month. Thank you so much again for watching. Let us know in the comments what you thought of Tura, and we will see you all same time next week. Bye everyone.